Good evening, everybody. It's your boy Ben Mahari here, represent MehariNation Sports Podcast. Welcome to episode 29 of Basketball Conversations, my weekly Friday show every Friday night, 9 p.m. Central Time, right here on this channel. Salute to the entire LDBC and the basketball community. Happy Juneteenth to all the black brothers all over the world. You know, understand what I'm saying? It's a huge holiday for us black people, man. You know what I mean? So, living in large though, man, and also happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there in the world though too, and in the United States as well. You know what I mean? All of them fathers that took the responsibility of building, strong black men and women all over this country and all over the world. As a matter of fact, though, too. So salute to them fathers out there, man. You understand what I'm saying? You know, I hope you guys have been having a great evening so far, man. Make sure you smash the like button on the way in here as well. We're going to get things crack-a-lacking here like we always do. As I see my brother Brandon Nicholson, always first into the building every single time he coming down here, always showing us love, though, man. And also we got Lewis Sports Network also in the house, though, too. Y'all make sure to subscribe to Lewis Sports Network, too, man. He's been putting out monster content there, too. I actually had the opportunity to check out his video about the 1990 about the 95 Braves. You know what I mean? That team with Glavin Smoltz and what is it? Glavin Smoltz Maddox, yeah, with Chipper Jones and the rest of them crew, man. Is that team, man? It's sad to know that they only with all them division titles, they only won one World Series. That is just unbelievable to really think about it too, man. So, and also I got my brother Frank Constant foremost in the building though too. One of the loyal subscribers of the channel though too, always holding it down though too, guys. You know what I mean? Make sure to smash the like button on the way in here. That's right, smash the like button on as you come on in here. All right. So, with no further ado, let's get things started here, shall we? Well, we're gonna discuss about a couple of things here too. I won't keep you guys on for too long there, man. So, all right, let's get down to it, shall we? So, I was just, scrubbing around, Instagram, and then basically Miss Jeannie Bush apparently released a letter describing a racist letter, basically saying that she can go to hell along with Kobe Bryant too, and basically the N word as well, though too. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you this: the way she described it, she was like in total shock that this kind of letter came to her. You know what I mean? And the thing is with that letter was that, that still proves to you that racism still exists in this country. You know what I mean? And I totally agree with Ticket TV said when his video dropped there too as well. The thing is though, bro, is like, listen, you have the money and the influence to really make a difference in combating racism in this country. But racism is not foreign to you because you live in high privilege. And when you live in high privileges, you're sometimes you feel like your mentality is immune to racism. And when it comes at your doorstep, it's become foreign to you. It's not out in the open like we see, like everybody else in the chat sees it every day. So it's like it was like a huge shock to her, and I guess in a sort of way. But the bottom line is this. This is going to relate to what we're going to discuss about it a little bit later. But all of them owners have the power and the influence to really make a difference and to combat all the racism that's going on around here. But you choose not to do that because it's not convenient to you. And when it's not convenient to you, it doesn't register in your mind. So therefore, I personally, feel a little bit sympathetic, but that's where it starts and ends. Okay. All the owners, you know what I mean? Most of them owners do support the Trump administration. So let's keep that in mind here, okay? And so the NBA has been kind of more of the forefront of combating racism, unlike all the other leagues around. But they're not. It's not like most of these owners give a damn about it. I mean, let's be real here. All they doing is this old Black Lives Matter thing is because it's basically profitable to use. That's all it comes down to it, though. And so, yeah, it was really, really fishy how that went down. So let me go ahead and check out the chat there real quick before we continue on here too. As I see my brother 225 girl in here. What's going on? How you doing tonight, man? And also see TJ Sports Talk in the house though too. Salute, brother. Lewis Sports Network said there's something fishy about this letter because she received their money and put it on IG Friday. And the minute she does it, LeBron responds to it. I know that's the weird part about it. Like you got the letter Monday, and then you decided to take it in, and then decided to post it on your Instagram on Friday. Like really, I don't. That's something that's a little fishy to me. And absolutely, Louis Sports Network is a smell. I definitely smell a rat in the whole thing because there's something suspicious going on around here, and I don't know. I don't know what it is, but trust me, as we always say, the truth always will come out, no matter how hard you try to conceal it. And so we'll see how that turns out, though, too. But that's going to relate to what we're going to discuss about a little bit later on in the show. But I wanted to just get that out there as a base point here. But I want to ask you guys this though: did you guys check out what happened on First Take this morning? I mean, if Kendrick Perkins isn't the biggest idiot on the face of this earth, I don't know what is, man. Because the guy put on the most embarrassing, con job I have ever seen anyone do, at any particular point in time. You know what I mean? Because here's what happened here. Okay, here's what happened. Mr. Kendrick Perkins had the audacity to pretty much voice his huge disagreement to Kyrie Irving about the whole, players, disagreeing about, playing basketball because of the social injustice issue and because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So let me read this again. And it's also one of the videos in my archives, so you can go check it out yourself. But here's what he said. He said, and quote, and this was on one of those ESPN debate shows or whatever. He said, Kyrie Irving, right now, you are the distraction. You are the distractor. It's crazy to me because you come out and you do something simply because talking to President Chris Paul or consulting with Michelle Roberts. Let's sit out without a plan. It makes zero sense, and I totally disagree. Well, you know that Kevin Durant was not going to take this lying down. So he pretty much called Mr. Kendrick Perkins, who was a teammate of his back in the OKC days, a sellout, and then basically, posted a video of him, shooting an air ball, pretty much, blasting and just obliterating Kendrick Perkins like there was no tomorrow. Well, you knew that Mr. Kendrick Perkins was going to respond to this. And pretty much he was putting on probably the worst con job I've ever seen anyone else put on something before. So here's what he pretty much had to say. Now, I can't play the video because of copyright reasons, so I'm going to read to you what he pretty much said. Here's what he said earlier this morning. He said, KD, my brother, just because I don't agree with you what Kyrie got going on here, don't mean I'm not fighting the same fight that you're all fighting. I'm fighting for African Americans. I have been. That don't make you a sellout. That don't make me a sellout because I have a different opinion or disagree with someone else that is going about it another way. I actually applaud anybody that is fighting the fight in right now in America. And then he goes a step further. He goes a way step further. He says, you don't know what I'm going through right now in my personal life fighting the fight. I live in $1 million community. I'm fighting the fight every day in my own community. I'm the only African-American family that live in this community. And my wife, I had to fight a fight with our home association and our neighbors every day through email, so much as that we are not even comfortable with having our own kids outside without supervision. Boo! God had made my ears bleed, man. I'll tell you, bro, oh my God, oh man, the way that he was sounding, this is what really gets, this is where it got me. This is where it got me. This is the part right here. He goes like, I'm the only African American family that lives in this community, and my wife and I have to fight with our own homes association and our neighbors every day through emails, so much that we not even comfortable with having our own kids go outside without supervision. Why'd you call me a sellout? Oh God, that just made me sick. Oh my God, bro. Listen, I'm going to put it like this, okay? I'm sure that, Perkins is going through his own version of what he's going through right now. But let's get something straight here. You could basically wipe those alligator tears away from your face because they're fake as hell. Bro, You decided to basically blast Kyrie Irving, to pretty much, blast him for doing his duty and his job as the vice president of the Players Association. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the players were so scared to stand up to Chris Paul because Chris Paul is major friends with LeBron James, and Chris Paul is the godfather to one of LeBron James's kids. All right, most of the NBA knows that dynamic. It wasn't going to work out in their favor. And even if they told Chris Paul, those concerns were going to fall on deaf ears. That's why they went to Kyrie Irving for that particular reason. That's number two. Number three, the bottom line is Kyrie Irving, there was a purpose to what he was doing. He was voicing the concerns of the players. And let me get something straight. And let's get something straight here. He did not tell the players, oh, you guys should not be playing right now. That's not what he was saying. He said, listen, I will support whatever decision you want to do. If you don't want to play, you don't have to play. Okay. That's what they were basically addressing through that entire phone conference call meeting last week. Okay. And the bottom line is that basically Kyrie Irving was pretty much doing what he had to do to bring up the issue that's been going on around here. A lot of these players don't feel comfortable playing because basically the environment right now, not just with the COVID-19 pandemic, but the whole issue going on with social injustice around Black people and minorities, is not the right time to think about playing sports. You put this in this proper perspective, sports is going to distract the main issues going on in this country. I know there's going to be a lot of casual people that are dying to see sports and entertainment to try to distract themselves of what's going on right here. But I'm sorry. Only what sports does is it's only distracts people. That's all that comes down to it. People need to learn to live without sports. And right now, this is teaching us that we need to focus on ourselves and focus on the issues going on in this country. That's what it comes down to. And I salute Kyrie Irving 100% about it. Well, you know that Kendrick Perkins wasn't doing his homework on the issue. So you knew that he was basically going to blast him to try to cape for what he's doing for LeBron James. And number four, this is the most important thing. Kendrick Perkins has been on an apologizing spree over the last week or so. Because not just about that, though, too. Not just about that. He also said that LeBron James is the greatest athlete of all time. And what did you know? Bill Russell, the man that rarely uses social media at all, came out of the woodwork and pretty much said, listen, I could have competed in the 57 Olympics in the high jump or track and field, but I decided to go for basketball because I couldn't compete in both sports. Then he posted a video basically showing the viewers him chasing down from one side of the court all the way to the other and immediately going on a high jump to block a shot. So what happened after was as simple as this. Kendrick Perkins saw that and pretty much had to backtrack and said, oh, yeah, man, my bad. I'm sorry, LeBron. I love you, bro, but I can't argue with a legend. Because he knew it was a battle that he wasn't going to win. So Kendrick Perkins is becoming more and more of a joke every single day. And it's absolutely ridiculous that it just basically comes down to it. So let me go ahead and check out the chat real quick. All right. So let me check this out real quick. Louis Sports Network says Perkins was mad as hell because he was taking L's from Bill Russell, Wilson Chandler, and Katie. Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that. Don't worry about that. He also said if he never got checked on it, he would have not been apologizing. And the funny thing is, he keeps on talking about how to use spot, but the same you and Stephen A. Snitch are using y'all to get paid. Yeah, exactly. We got the brother Mr. Big Chest in the building. What's going on, bro? And y'all were laughing about my rant, though, bro. He said, job perk rule when I crack. 225 girl, that's cold, bro. Oh, my goodness. Cowboys for life in KC says, salute, though, brother. All right. Louis Sport Network said, but it wouldn't be hush. A bunch of sellouts talking about my brothers would rip them apart for ESPN ratings. Oh, yeah, absolutely. He said, and also Big J said, hold up, send me a link. I got some smoke for that dude Perk. Okay. Yeah, I'll send you a link in a minute. Louis is the writer sports. Hey, what's up, bro? He said, I'm boycotting ESPN. Man, I've been boycotting ESPN for years. For the last year or so. I've not even watched their debate shows. The only time I ever bought something on ESPN is when I basically use the subscription to buy off of the Last Dance documentary. That's about it. But other than that, that's the only time I ever saw that. Other than that, nothing from ESPN that's going to get any money from me. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yep. And Cowboys for Life said KD was right. And now this, oh, yeah, that's right. I was going to get to that. That's a good point, Lewis Sport, that he said Perk has been friends with LeBron since 8th grade playing AAU ball. So it makes sense for all this capping, but help eliminate Bron in the 08 and 10 class as a Celtic, but here out there snitching. Oh, yeah, absolutely. He says, and Lewis, the writer sports, says no sports should need to be happening until they got a cure for the virus. I agree 100%. Frank Casafomo said, yeah, it's hard to watch ESPN with sports. Without it, it's unbearable. I still know why Perkins is even there. Well, I'm going to get to why he got the job there. I'm going to get to that. Mr. Big Chat says, Skip Bayless eat the perk today. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, so what the chat's basically talking about is that, during the broadcast of Undisputed, Skip Bayless basically ethered his own 2 cents of the situation. And what Lewis Sports Network basically explained about was that Perk basically revealed a photo of him and LeBron James in the 8th grade playing AAU ball out. I think it was in California, right? And so pretty much it's been kind of explains a little bit more about why Perkins always had LeBron James's back. But still, what's so funny, guys? The weird part about it is that when I heard Skip Bayless explain to himself about what's going on, he said how Kendrick Perkins is basically capable of LeBron James, this, that, and the third. I'm like, is Skip Bayless watching our videos? Like, that's exactly what me, Ticket, LB2 Raw, Lewis Sports Network, rest of them dudes have been explaining about it almost for the last year. Like, man, am I seeing something blind here? Really? Like, man, I tell you what, though, man, the world 2020 has been just a terrible year, but it gets even weirder when you actually hear Skip Bayless basically speak verbatim what we've been talking about. All right. It's just absolutely crazy. But Skip is actually right for a change because that's what basically Kendrick Perkins has been paid to do. And I'll tell you why he was able to get the job. I actually researched about how NBA players, find a way to get, jobs in broadcasting. When you basically are entering the final years of your basketball career, you basically can enter into a broadcasting courses that the NBA offers you. I think it's online courses or whatever. And you have to pass certain amount of classes to try to, get a job working at a sports network like, Fox Sports, NBC Sports, ESPN, CBS Sports, and all that other stuff. So a lot of these dudes, end up taking those kind of courses. And then basically when they pass a certain criteria, that's how they're able to be eligible to get those kind of jobs. Now, I won't deny that, Kendrick Perkins, most likely took those kind of courses to secure a job, working for ESPN. There's no debate about that. But when you basically use that network to basically cape for LeBron every single day, you're basically feeding into, the hype machine of LeBron. You know what I mean? It just drives you absolutely crazy. And you know what the really sad part is? The really sad part is that these networks regurgitate the same topics nonstop every single day. And I won't say that they don't have the creativity to produce different kind of content, because they do. But the problem is when there's no actual sports going on, they don't have any other content that they can lean on and basically, create for different types of audiences. But I would say that right now, if we're winning in this kind of competition, because the fact is, a lot of the smaller YouTube channels have their own ways of creativity, and we can reach a different type of audience that I'm sure that the mass media would love to dream of. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that right now we're winning. We're pretty much controlling our own narrative, because there's no director, there's no boss that you got to go up to get some stuff approved. We have the right to basically say what we want to say and do what we want to do. Although YouTube has some weird, guidelines that they're trying to, manipulate of, but I'm not going to get into that. But the point is this: it's weird. It's basically crazy how Kendrick Perkins never went to college and was able to secure a job at ESPN, all because he was a teammate with LeBron James. And you know what the weird part is? He was a Celtic and basically was helping out the Celtics eliminate LeBron from the playoffs in 2008 and 2010. And you wonder why. Kendrick Perkins doesn't like to debate, Skip Bayless, because he knew Skip Bayless is going to rip in a new one. He's going to rip an entirely a new one. He always rips Shannon Sharp a new one every single day because Shannon Sharp's case for LeBron nonstop. So the point is that these guys they get to these courses, they pass a certain criteria, and that's how they were able to get them jobs. But there are only a few good analysts out there that actually call it the way they see it. And the only few I know of is Steven Jackson, was it Jim Jackson, and then also Matt Barnes. But other than that, that's pretty much it. That's all the people I can think of. So let me go ahead and check out the chat real quick. 225 Girl says sports can take a backseat if you want your sports, go to the nearest park or play a 2 game on a game system. That's fact. That's the best way to do it. Mr. Big Chest says ESPN covering 2K games. Yeah, I know. Lou the Right Sports says I wouldn't be shocked if Skip shows up on here. Yeah, Skip Bayless coming on to my show and regurgitating my talking points. It wouldn't be surprising but I wouldn't be surprised by that. But I don't think he would waste his time listening to me. But you never know. That's actually a good point. 225 Girl says I caught that, and Mr. Big Chat says, and you wonder why Perk has been avoiding Skip the entire play. He don't want the smoke. Oh yeah, I know. Listen, as much as Skip Bayless, likes to play that LeBron James hate character a lot and does it way too far, there are times where sometimes Skip will pull back and say and probably regurgitate some of the stuff that we're talking about. But he does it in a way where it's just, crosses the line and takes it too far. Same thing like with the LeBron lovers. They take they try to regurgitate our talking points and then take it in a way to try to cape for LeBron. That's what they try to do. That's what it is. And Frank says, I think Jalen Rose is a decent analyst. He's decent, but I think sometimes Jalen Rose, sometimes it goes a little bit overboard too. Same for Paul Pierce too as well. Lewis the Sport Night would say they must get 10 multiple choice questions. If Perkins, Hollins, and all of LeBron's friends can get media jobs, probably cheated with the test answers. Yeah, I'm sure they did. Yeah, I you know what? I probably believe that too. I think they probably just rigged up the answers to try to make sure they get them jobs. Well, who knows? Oh yeah, Kalen Bissent says Jalen Rose ain't too bad either. Yeah, I'm sure. But how you doing though, Jalen Bissent? I hope you're doing good though, brother. Yeah. So let me do this real quick. Mr. Big Chest, I'm gonna post the link in the live chat. You can go ahead and jump on. I'm gonna post this on just a second here. Okay. All right. Okay, Mr. Big Chest. Here's a link to the live stream. Go ahead and jump on though, bro. Just real quick here, okay? Go ahead and jump on. So, the thing that's just basically on what it comes down to, and you wonder why a lot of these different type of people get these kind of jobs. It's just absolutely, being crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it just drives you absolutely nuts. That's why a lot of viewers, have no patience and they don't have the time to basically listen to these guys talk because they never succeeded well in their professional careers. And they basically say they have experience in the NBA. But at the same time, you sit there like, what the heck? What are you even talking about? So that's just what it comes down to. Now I got my brother Big Chest in the building here. Let me add him here right now. Mr. Big Chest, what's going on, my brother?
Salute, Abel Mahari. Salute, chat. How y'all doing?
Man, chilling, bro. Just chilling, though, man. Go ahead and speak your piece, though, my brother.
Man, so my problem with Kendrick Perkins is that, he went on this whole diatribe on ESPN today, yesterday about how he's not a sellout and how he's not, how he does stuff for his community, which is good and all, like good that you're doing good for your community and everything, good that you're speaking out, but, stop avoiding the problem. He didn't even apologize for calling Kyrie a bird brain. And he expect that we gonna take his little sob story and say, oh, we cool with that, he's avoiding the thing. And same thing with Skip Bayless. He hasn't been on Undisputed since October of 2018. Like he hasn't been like a consistent on Undisputed as a guest since 2018. So you wonder why he's avoiding Skip, because he knows Skip gonna come with that smoke. And secondly, man, you can't take him seriously because I was on Ticket Stream and Texas T said that Kendrick Perkins a year ago today said that Jordan was the undisputed GOAT. Now that now he's coming around saying that LeBron's the greatest athlete of all time. And honestly, I think it's a whole bunch of hypocrisy. I think he's getting paid by Bron, like Ryan Hollins and Damon Jones and Stephen A. Snitch and everybody else that supports the LeBron James camp. And honestly, I think it's sickening because you're supposed to use your platform that they have to, promote sports like ESPN is supposed to do, but you use your platform to demonize players that go against LeBron's motives. And Kyrie's the biggest example of it because Kyrie exposed the LeBron media. Basically, the LeBron media, LeBron stands in the media, they glorify LeBron for everything, which is right. But basically, LeBron gets all the credit when they win, when LeBron teams win, and when a
Right.
LeBron team's room, when a LeBron team loses, it's never LeBron's fault. And they didn't get in and the fact is, and you notice ESPN after they won the championship, they didn't give Kyrie the just due credit. They said that Kyrie's shot was it was a good shot, but LeBron's block won the game. What people don't remember is the block came with 3 minutes and 36 seconds left in the game.
Correct.
The shot came with 53 seconds left in the game. People forget that. And then Kyrie comes on first take 2 months later when he before he gets traded to Boston, comes on first takes, ethers Stephen A. Smith, destroys Max Kellerman, and Max Kellerman comes on the next day crying, and so does Will Kane. And that's when, and they mad because you can't explain the truth. You disrespected this man on national TV for 2 months after they won the championship. You basically diminished his shot, and y'all basically said that LeBron carried him. Y'all forget that game 5 they were down in game 5 into the Warriors, and the only reason they won is because Kyrie got hot. Game 6 he had 36, and game 7 he had 28 and averaged 27.5 for that series. But they disrespected him, and he's the biggest reason that he's the biggest proof of LeBron media hypocrisy, and the media doesn't want to admit it. So they're gonna try to shut everything down. They're gonna
Right.
try to use everything to demonize Kyrie. And Kyrie's right at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we got to fight for what's right, and sports can take a back seat.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with you 100%. The one thing that really been bothering me is that how these guys have been trying to manipulate the narrative of what Kyrie is trying to do. Listen, Kyrie was only addressing the concerns of the players because they felt that the players were their voices were not being registered to Chris Paul because of his relationship with LeBron James. And basically, Kyrie Irving was fulfilling his job as as the vice president of the Players Association, and pretty much was backing them to listen. If you don't want to play, you don't have to play. But I felt like they just trying to take it into another way where it's like, oh, there's no direction where we're going. Yes, there is. You just didn't look at your notes and think about what's going on around here. These players were more because we're tired of basically LeBron dictating terms around here, and they were pretty much saying like, listen, the sports is not important right now, and it's like, come on, you guys, listen, the media, right? I'm gonna tell you something. As a person that basically studies media, I'm very disappointed about our American media right now because there's a too much of a biasism going on around here, and it's not, and we can't even find good consistent news these days. We have to literally dig through different sources to find different news. It just drives me absolutely crazy. But go ahead with your response, though, my man.
Man, I agree with what you're saying. Like the media is too skewed today. I try to watch everything. I'm back and forth from Fox and ESPN, and actually, I'll be watching. I watch NBC Sports Network, and they have good shows on there too. They're not as well
Right.
known, but they're not biased, and they don't be trashing down. They don't be trashing down players, like ESPN and Fox do. So like, if I want to get good sports shows, I watch NBC Sports because they have good content on there, and it's a variety, and they critique every player. And what most people are afraid of, they be critiquing LeBron James like it's crazy, like they be getting extra detailed with him. But I
Mm-hmm.
wish the other media networks would do it. But the fact is that LeBron has so much sway in the building, and not to say that it isn't deserved, because he deserves credit, for building his platform, for he deserves credit for helping his guys, his friends get through college and put them into a place to succeed. I don't blame him for it, but your friends are in a place to succeed, but that doesn't give them the right to promote negative media about your contemporaries. If you're a leader, like I know he is, and he has that much sway in the building, he could literally say stop, and all the bronze sexuals would stop doing this negative stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that 100%. But let me ask you about your opinion about what's been going on with the players about their pretty much the divide between wanting to play or wanting to or not wanting to play. Because I've been on the fence pretty much, from the beginning that the players should not the players should just tell the league cancel the entire season because there's no point of continuing. Because right now they're going to be playing in a state where cases are spiking through the roof, and the circumstances around playing sports is not ideal right now because of what's been going on around America. And so it's been a huge divide right now. And I think that right now, who I favor right now is the players that don't want to play right now. But the league is so focused on, coming back to playing basketball. But I'll let you have the floor about that topic.
Yeah, like this is my personal opinion on this thing. I understand that, LeBron and like CP3 and I think Kawhi, they want to come back. And you understandably so, we've been out of sports, and usually sports, and it's true that sports brings people together. It did after 9/11. They had a whole the football game, the ratings they did after 9/11. It's brung this country together after major tragic events, after major historic life changing events. But over this last, this pandemic has taught me something, man, that we can't make sports our God. We can't make sports our idol. We can't let sports be more important than our daily lives as, human beings. And, I feel like, I feel like the media is pushing this toxic narrative that sports will fix everything, and that's what it looks like on that's what it looks like on ESPN and Fox. When you got Stephen A. Smith, bloviating and pontificating about y'all need to play, y'all need to play, y'all need to play. It's gonna help us. It's gonna help me get my paycheck. It's gonna help us. And I'm like, y'all, it's like y'all relying on sports. It's like for me, I'm looking at Stephen A. It's like you're relying on sports to get you your money when this was your vocabulary and your intellect and your two master's degrees that got you that money. But now,
Exactly.
now it's sports that gets you your money. It's sports that drives your life. It's sports that makes you get up and go. And I'm like, that is such a butt backwards mindset, and it's so toxic. And I understand, and I think Kyrie pointed that out. It's gonna be a distraction. As much as people want to say, "Oh, we're gonna come together," no, we're not. We're gonna forget about the Black Lives Matter thing. We're gonna forget about what we've been trying to change. And yes, LeBron can still speak out, but sitting out and taking a major stand is what sets a precedent. And you can't be afraid to set a precedent because you want to achieve your bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with you 100%. And plus, you also got teammates like Avery Bradley and Dwight Howard, speaking out. And you know that there's a great chance they're not going to play anyway. And I also thought about how, yeah, I also been reaching up some stuff that Dwight Howard could be a huge interest for the Brooklyn Nets. Now, what do you think that would work if Dwight Howard, was able to join the Brooklyn Nets?
Are you talking about like, for the rest of this season, if it comes when it comes back, or like for
No,
next season?
not probably for next season because that's not going to happen for this upcoming season.
Okay, so for next year, I'm looking at the schematics of the Brooklyn Nets. You're gonna have KD and Kyrie back healthy. Spencer Dinwiddie. You're gonna have, I think, Joe Harris is gonna be Joe Harris is gonna be at the two, and then you're gonna have two big men now with Dwight and DeAndre Jordan. Well, three big men and Jared Allen, aka Mr. Afro, and then you got Karis LeVert and a couple other dudes off the bench. So I just think honestly, Dwight just adds more depth to the team.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Kalen Bassett basically got a good point. He said Cat wanted to play and protest and got crapped on. Kyrie wants to play protest outside of sports and still gets crapped on.
Yeah, like I understand that, man. And like speaking of the cap thing, um, I heard what the Cheeto and Chief said about him, saying if he deserves to play, if he's good enough. My thing is, if you don't know, people don't know, he was kind of screwed. Like his last 2 years, he did struggle 3-13 as a starter, but it wasn't all on him. His coach threw him under. When I say his coach threw him under the bus, like you traded away half of his offensive line, he released his running back, and the coach basically forced Kaepernick to play in a system where he wasn't comfortable, like his first couple years in the league, where he was dominant. So, and yes, Cap, he didn't have the best deep ball outside the numbers, but he was still athletic and everything, and he still had his athleticism. But his coach threw him under the bus, and NFL teams were like, we're basing it off your last 2 seasons instead of the first your whole career. And I forgot who admitted it that they basically blackballed him. And then Pete Carroll comes out and said, well, we wanted to sign Cap, but we had Russell Wilson. And I'm like, yes, Russell Wilson's a better quarterback in my opinion. He's a better deep ball thrower, better accuracy. He can slide better. And like he has better quarterback skills, but Kaepernick still can be an asset. You still could have had him as an asset, and other teams didn't sign him. And now you got the Chargers coming out saying that they're going to give him a workout later on this summer, and I'll believe it when I see it. But honestly, you know, it's a bunch of hypocrisy. And then with Kyrie, I just think the media like to disrespect Kyrie's intelligence, honestly, because especially ESPN, since he basically exposed ESPN back in 2017 when he was on
Yep.
First Take. They have this big ESPN has this huge vendetta against Kyrie, which is unnecessarily, you don't be lying to the media about capping for LeBron. So, they just mad. And it's Max Kellerman that leads the Max Kellerman. Ironically, he's the one leading this agenda because Max Kellerman, he's always talking about, well, Kyrie can never be a leader, or Kyrie always does this, or you can't. And he always brings up the fact that the Celtics had a better record without Kyrie than they did with Kyrie, and then that the Nets had a better record this year with Kyrie than they did with Kyrie, but doesn't mention the fact that Kyrie only played 20 something games this year, and the games, and he was like 8, or he was like 10 or something,
Right.
and the Nets only had like 4 more wins without Kyrie, so that's not a big deal. So I don't know why they got to bring that crap up.
Yeah, I absolutely, definitely agree with you 100%. And I was about to say, okay, there we go. Yeah, I got it. See, the thing with the whole players thing, though, is think about this for a moment. All the other sport leagues are basically watching what the NBA is doing right now. I mean, I actually watched something from Undisputed this morning, and they basically were talking about how the NFL was going to, come up with their own bubble. And I'm like, how are you going to do that when you got a 40 plus man roster and got various coaches on both sidelines? And basically, football is basically an 11-man sport for both sides of the ball. And how are you going to get that to be possible? And you already got cases of football players, getting COVID-19. And right now, MLB may have to cancel their season because they can't agree upon, how many games they're going to play though too. So I just think that right now, all the sports leagues need to just suck it up and just take their financial losses, because it just does not make any sense right now to continue playing sports, not just because of COVID-19, but because of the social injustice issues going on in this country. Here's the thing. America is basically a capitalistic country. They want to produce money off of your talent, so that way they can distract themselves to the dumb casual viewer, to distract what's going on in this country. And therefore, they're so hell bent at bringing back sports to try to distract themselves from it. But right now, these issues are too strong for anyone else to try to tackle. And as a result, people have been saying, like, who cares about sports? Nobody cares about, sports right now. And that's just the facts. And I'm going to get to you in Big Chest in this moment, because I'm going to get to the chat real quick. Louis Sport Network says the media is upset at Kyrie because he doesn't want to bend and kiss butt to say things that they want to hear. Oh, yeah, we know. Oh, yeah, we know. Absolutely. We got Mr. Big Cheese in here. He said LeBron is actually trying to get black people to vote for Joe Biden. Black people need to start trusting these slips. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, and we know about that. You know what I'm saying? Lou the Writer Sports says right now they got 250 cases in Florida, and the numbers keep going up. The NBA don't need to play any games down here. Well, they're trying to save money right now. I mean that's just what it comes down to, But go ahead, Big Chess. Go ahead. I'll let you have the floor on this one.
Man, I really like, you basically said everything. I was looking at the last comment. They said Florida, people ain't the people in Florida, they never was social distancing. They was partying when we was supposed to be under quarantine. So you wonder why the case is up. And you know, it's just, like with all the sports league, I can understand professional. Now college sports, that's a whole nother issue. That's a different monster because the colleges they make most of their money doing college football. College basketball is good and all that, but they make most of their money doing college football, especially the Power Five conferences: ACC, SEC, Big Ten, Big 12, and Pac 12. They make that's how they make most of their money. So if they don't have a college football season, they don't have scholarships. So I'm just thinking, how are they going to supplement from having that much of a loss, to their scholarship fund and also to their school revenue? Because it's not like these kids basically they have sponsorships and they can afford to miss out on a season. Some of these kids, they're playing so they can actually get a degree. So how would you handle that situation?
Yeah, most certainly. I definitely do 100%. And you going back to that college thing, I did a video a couple weeks ago where basically the state of Florida also approved a bill where basically college athletes can now make money, make profit off of their own likeness, photo and name too as well. Right now, there's two states right now that have basically approved similar bills, which is basically California last year, and then basically last month it was Florida right now. So with the pandemic going on right now, I mean, it's like the NCAA is going to have to just open up their damn wallets and just start paying these athletes like they should have been doing ages ago. And I did a historical perspective video about Walter Byers, about the guy who created the term the student athlete. Go check that out, you guys, in the chat. But right now, as basically somebody in the chat basically said there are a lot of football players that are basically being they're basically getting sick from COVID-19. So right now it's getting worse and worse out there, and it's like the whole issue of sports is not going to do anything to try to cover things up right now, and it's the same thing goes for basketball right now. I mean, it's like I've never seen the NCAA get canceled until the pandemic started to hit the fan, and now the, I know if the basketball is going to continue even beyond next year too. Even listen, I don't know even if they get a vaccine to try to control this whole situation, it's not going to get easy. People are going to everything's going to change from this point forward. The new norm is going to be now where you're going to have to show verification that you've taken this COVID-19 vaccine for either to get a job or either to try to travel outside of the U.S. It's going to pretty much change everybody else's lives. And I don't know how people are going to, I don't know how people in the U.S. are going to adjust to this. They can't, they weren't able to adjust when basically people were trying to tell them you got to social distancing and all that. And now you guys, cases spiking through the roof. So I don't know how you can change things. I really don't know, Mr. Big Chess. It's just, I don't know, man.
I mean, well, like the problem is, like with those people, you got a whole bunch of people in this country that want to do what they want to do, no matter what the consequences are. Like you got people that say, "I'm gonna do what I want to do because I deserve to go outside and get my hair cut and all this good stuff, and I deserve to go outside and fire my AR-15 and all that good stuff." You got people like that act a fool and go protest at a Capitol building armed with AR-15s and AR-10s, thinking that they're marching for freedom. You got a president that's supporting that foolishness, and I'm like, it's just like literally. I'm looking at Taiwan. I'm looking at New Zealand. New Zealand was locked down for a whole month. After a whole month, their cases was gone. Just after
Right.
1 month, we can't even lock down for two minutes, and people start whining and moaning. Now, honestly, I understand. We cannot stay secluded for like a long. We cannot stay secluded forever. We're gonna have to get out. We're gonna have to get back to some sense of normalcy. We can't just we can't just social distance for the rest of our lives. That's just basically impractical. But honestly, we have to follow protocol when doctors and nurses and the people that know about more about this stuff than the average citizen, when they give you advice on what to do, not doing what the president's saying, not for political, but real people that know what they're talking about, and they give you advice what to do. You need to adhere. People need to adhere to that authority. You got a whole bunch of people that don't want to adhere to authority, and a hard head makes a soft behind, as what my mom says, and people are falling on their behinds.
Definitely do. I agree with you 100%, man. And so, I just felt that, and then going back to the whole, the whole NBA, topic thing. Kendrick Perkins got this entire thing wrong, and I'm glad that people ripped him to shreds for it, because he deserved every single bit of it, and it's gonna teach him a lesson that, listen, if you keep doing that, it's gonna it's people in the NBA circles are going to basically cut you out, bro. Like, there are certain things that you cannot reveal to the public. I mean, the fact that he was basically revealed about how Paul Pierce basically spat on the Cleveland bench when LeBron was playing as a rookie. Like, come on, bro. Why did you have to reveal that secret, man? Like, there are certain things that you just don't reveal. Now, there is some stories where, like, that obviously are basically reported and then basically you got admitted to it. That's different. But when you basically come out and basically admit those stories without the public's knowledge of it, that's snitching, bro. I'm sorry. That's just absolutely snitching in my eyes. I can't accept that. So let me go ahead and check out the chat real quick. And so Mr. Jalen Bissett says college athletes have been making millions for decades for these schools, and all of them, some of the, and some got them with some free classes. Just like Abel said, they should have been getting paid. Oh yeah, absolutely. And he's talking about those are great, history sports videos. Thanks, bro. I really appreciate it. I try my best on that. He also, Jalen Bissett said, kids have scholarships taken just for making a few dollars from a YouTube channel. Yep, that's where that's where basically the likeness issue comes into play, because what I also learned is that when you're basically been an NCAA athlete, you can't even make your own YouTube channel and get your YouTube channel get monetization off of it. You can't even make no money off of it. Let me tell you a little story though. Mr. Big Jets. When I was in college, Kyle Mason, I should say, Nate Mason, who was the starting point guard for the Golden Gophers basketball team, the men's team. I was in one of his classes one time, and I pretty much asked him, like, bro, how do you survive, being a college athlete and not doing anything and not being able to get a job or try to survive out there? And it's like, and he goes up to me, he's like, bro, it's hard because I can't sign up for a normal job. I can't, make my own YouTube channel. I can't even sell my own stuff without, the NCAA all over my case. And it's like, really, bro? Like, it really gives you an eye opener to think, like, bro, the NCAA is like, and I'm just gonna say it. It's like a slavery institution. They make money off of you, and you get nothing out of it. It just makes no sense, though, bro. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Hey, I got some fast for you. Speaking of that, um, here's the thing. So how every year, well, except for this year, because in college basketball, there usually every year there's some like hyped up player. I know 2018, 2019 was Zion. The year before was Trey Young. Here's the thing. Trey Young for the University of Oklahoma, his jersey sales were over 4.5 million worldwide.
Right.
And then just alone, Oklahoma, they were in I think they was in the 2K, they was in one of the early tournaments that they have. I think they was in a tournament in Hawaii, and Trey Young had like a stretch of games where he had 36, 44, and 33, and just went off. And the last game he had was like a 30-point triple double, and that's when he broke Steph Curry's scoring record, and basically Oklahoma's viewership and their ratings went up. And out of the past 6 or 7 years, um, Trey Young, Zion Williamson, Lonzo Ball, Jason Tatum, and Anthony Davis are the highest marketing players in college basketball history, and they made more combined than all their rookie contracts were. That's how
Right.
much money they're worth. But the NCAA says, well, they're student athletes, and I'm in college, and I got friends that are D1. I got friends that are D1 athletes, and I was on the practice team for my school's basketball team, and I talked to dudes, and they said, you know, they wake up at 5:30, they do conditioning, 5:30 to 7:30, 7:30 they eat breakfast, and then 8:30 they go through their remedial classes, and then like from 11 to 2 they're strength training, and then they're practicing, and either they're getting on a bus or a plane to go to a away game or preparing for a home game. And to be honest, if you want to talk about student athlete, they only spend about an hour or two in like actually learning, you know, college material. And in that time, what they do is like you divide it into like 20 minutes you learn about your major subjects. The other 20 minutes is just your general ed, and then your electives, and that's what they do. So they're basically spending about 1 or 2 hours a week, 1 or 2 hours a day, you know, just basically getting their college stuff, and the rest of the time they're just putting their bodies through the work so they can get in shape.
Yeah, bro. That to me, bro. That's like a 12. That's like a 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. type of job, bro. And you're telling me that they make no money off of that? It's absolutely ridiculous. And that's why I created the video about Walter Byers, my historical vector videos. Go check that out on my channel. But I created that video for that specific reason because the term student athlete was created to try to prevent schools to prevent basically liability and disability, benefits for these athletes though. But then as he retired, he basically realized that the term student athlete was a mistake because then the whole scheme of what he was trying to do was basically allowing these colleges to make money off of these athletes and try to get their own television deals, and the students weren't making anything. And he tried to change up the system, but by that time when he was basically going to retire after 87, it was pretty much too late. You know what I mean? It's absolutely ridiculous how the NCAA has been able to get away with this for this long. But I'm glad that more of these states are a lot of the states are basically going to try passing legislation to basically say, listen, you got to pay these athletes, or you can basically leave our state. And trust me, the NCAA wants their money, and so they're going to have to either change the fundamental way of thinking or just basically accept the fact that they're basically going to pay off their likeness. Because honestly, if you really think about it, a lot of these athletes are getting paid anyway. And it's not really like a disadvantage at all. It's like, listen, if they got more money than you, go figure out other means to try to get more money to try to get those athletes to come over to your school. That just is what it is, man. Ridiculous.
Yeah, but like, you know, like back to this Perkins thing. You know, honestly, you know, I've looked. You know, Park's been in. I think Park retired in 2017, right?
2018.
2018. Okay, 2018. So 2018, he was back. 2018, he was back and forth. You know, from Fox Sports to ESPN. You know, some days he was on First Take, other days he was on Undisputed and Colin Cowherd, and some one. I think one time he was on Speak for Yourself, and you know, honestly, I never. He kept changing. You know, one he was changing his stuff then, and then ever since the middle of 2019, he's been on the LeBron train and everything. Or maybe he has been on the LeBron train, you know, since he came out with that stuff, you know, when he was in high school. My question is, why would you post that picture? Why would you post that picture? Because Skip had already said that you was capping for LeBron. Like he said, it was funny. He called everybody that wrote for LeBron. He called them He called them the Captain C's. He said C Kendrick, Rich Paul. He said C Chris Broussard, C Perkins, and then the newest C, he said C Shannon. And I'm like, wow. And no, but then the weird thing is, I'm like, and then I know people say, man, why is he getting? What I'm saying, listen, like they said, why ain't they gonna fire like Stephen A. Smith? Why ain't they gonna fire Max? Why ain't they gonna fire Kendrick Perkins or Ryan Hollins? And I thought Ryan Hollins was fired, but Ryan Hollins, he's not on. He's on ESPN3. He's on the internet. They just have him on Hoop Strings, him and Damon Jones. But they're not gonna get fired for ESPN because they protect the bottom line, and the bottom line is LeBron James. Jason Whitlock, aka Mr. Smorgasbord, Mr. Big Mac himself, he was fired because of the LeBron tweets. And everybody knows, if you're a big sports network like Fox or ESPN, if you go against the LeBron agenda, they're gonna get rid of you. And he's been going against the LeBron agenda for a while now.
Yeah, absolutely about that though too. Doubt about it. But anyway, I don't care about for Jason Whitlock anyway. He's a sellout, no, regardless though. He deserved to be get rid of anyway, but it don't matter. But you're absolutely right about what you're saying though. It's always about the bottom line with LeBron James. Without the LeBron James bottom line, these networks don't get no ratings, they don't get no views, they're gonna make no money off of it. That's why they're trying so hard to resume the seasons though. But I'm gonna go ahead and conclude the show though for now though. But this is actually was a lot of fun though, bro. So, but Mr. Big Chest, go ahead and give me your last words though, bro. But you are welcome anytime to come back.
All right, man. Well, thank you for having me on the stream. It was a blessing being on. I'm glad to hear some knowledge and information. I want to say salute to the chat. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay safe. During this time, remember to lift each other up during this time. And hope to see you on the next one. Anyway, stay safe and God bless.
Yeah, for sure. Let's thank you, Mr. Big Chest, for coming on to the show though, man. Much appreciated though, too, though, man. So, but thanks for everybody that's coming on to the show though, guys. It was actually a lot of fun though, man. It was a great informative show though, too. I appreciate all the love and support though, man. Make sure to smash the like button on the way out though, too, as well. You know what I mean? We're gonna go ahead and shut it down for the night though, guys. But it was a great show. Hope you guys stay safe on the Father's Day weekend and continue to celebrate Juneteenth during this weekend, and make sure to stay safe out there. But this is the Bill Mehari, representing MehariNation Sports Podcast, or episode 29 of Basketball Conversation. Salute to the entire LDBC, and be on the lookout for more content during the weekend. You know what I mean? And also, I'm going to continue my historical perspective videos Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Central Time. And just going to discuss about, great players, great teams, great moments, great series, anything you guys want to talk about. If you got anything that you want me to touch upon, make sure to put it in the comments section though too, and I'll do that ASAP Rocky. But y'all stay safe out there. Make sure to continue the social distancing thing. You know what I mean? Enjoy Juneteenth. Enjoy your Father's Day. Spend time with your families, and have a great weekend, y'all. I'll see y'all next week. Have a great night, guys.